is Kiara-Shaye Partington, student number 25882562. I am a first year student at the University of UNISA, and as you can see, we are going to cook today. So we are going to make not one, not two, but a 3-course meal. And I'm going to take you with me to make this lovely meal. So as you can see, we have some ingredients in front of us. I'm going to make chicken livers for my starter, a traditional bobotie with some mashed potatoes for my main, and for the dessert we are going to make raspberry and white chocolate eclairs. So as you can see, I'm in my full chef's uniform. Just a little 360 for you guys. But yeah, in front of us we have our ingredients for our first meal, our starter. And this is going to make the lovely and delicious peri-peri chicken livers. So we are going to quickly measure out these ingredients according to our recipe, just so we make life a bit easier for us and not struggle with everything being in the way. Now, after we've all measured out our ingredients according to the recipe, we are going over to the stove to cook this up and make a delicious, lovely meal. Okay, so I've turned on the stove. I have all of my ingredients here right beside me. Now we can start to cook. So after the chicken livers have a nice golden brown color on both sides, you can go ahead and add the garlic and the peri-peri sauce and just stir everything well together. texture. We can move on to the last step of adding the lemon juice as well as the cream. Let everything simmer together, let the sauce thicken up, and then we are ready to serve and also to eat. I've just removed my livers from the hot stove to prevent them from overcooking, and we are ready to plate up. So get yourself a nice little bowl. So after you plated up your livers, you can just grab some chopped parsley for some garnishing and making your dish look pretty. And now we're ready to eat. So there you have it, a beautiful plate, your starter, peri-peri chicken livers. And I think it's only right to take a little taste test. It's creamy, with a hint of spice from the peri-peri sauce, and a little crunch from the garlic. Perfect starter for you. So after we've completed our starter, the peri-peri chicken livers, we are going to move on to our main dish. It's the bobotie, and we are going to pair that with some mashed potatoes. As you can see, we have our ingredients here in front of us. But first we are going to cook the kettle for the water to soak the bread in, as well as to boil the potatoes while we are preparing the rest of our meal. So far so good. So the potatoes are busy boiling on the stove, the oven is turned on, and now we are going to move on by slicing our onion into small pieces, and we are going to fry that in the pan, and then we are going to mix everything together, and we are going to make a lovely delicious bobotie. After the onions have been sauteed, we are going to switch off one of the plates and remove the onions from the heat. that to cool down. We are now going to move on to the filling of the bobotie. So after we've done sauteing our onions, we are then going to move on to the filling of our bobotie. Our bread has been soaking in the water for about 10-12 minutes, and here's all of our ingredients in front of us that we are going to mix together for the filling. So we are going to start to crumble the bread into little small pieces, and we are going to measure out our ingredients according to the recipe, just to make it easier for us to mix everything together. And we are going to use the kitchen scale as well as our measuring cups and measuring spoons. Okay, we are going to go ahead and measure out all of our spices. So we are going to start with some sugar, and we are going to need 2 tablespoons of sugar. So this is 1 tablespoon, so we are going to need 2 of those. Next on, we are going to move to our curry powder, and we are going to use 2 teaspoons of those. This is half a teaspoon, so I'm also going to do 2 of these. No, 4 of them, sorry. And for the turmeric, we are also going to use 1 teaspoon, so I'm going to do 2 of these because this is half a teaspoon. So then you can just give your spices a mix. And then we are going to use 2 teaspoons and then we are going to measure out 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, and then we are going to add everything to our mince. And then we are going to measure out 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, and then we are going to add everything to our mince. I almost forgot our most important spice, and we are going to add only a half of a teaspoon of our ground cloves. So here in front of me I have my plate where I'm going to put my mince in and everything together, and I'm just going to make sure that we have a pound of our minced meat, and it equals to about almost 500 grams of mince. So now it's time to combine everything to make our mix for our bobotie. So in front of us we have our 500 grams of mince, our sauteed onions, the lemon juice, the mixed spices, the bread, and also the beaten eggs. So we are first going to start by adding the eggs into the mince mixture. is mixed in, we are then going to crumble in the bread into this mixture. And then we are going to add in our onions as well as the lemon juice, the hot water and the spices. Now we are going to put this mixture into the oven until it's ready, and remember to keep safe and not burn yourself. Now we are quickly going to make the custard filling that we're going to pour on top of the bobotie when it is done cooking in the oven. So it's just going to be 2 eggs and some milk. We're going to mix that together, pour it on top, arrange our bay leaves on top, and then we're going to put it back in the oven until it's ready. And there you have it, a delicious, lovely and hearty piece of bobotie paired with some creamy mash. Perfect idea for dinner. The last item on our menu is going to be our dessert. So today we are going to make raspberry and white chocolate eclairs, and we are going to make them with the choux pastry, and everything that we are going to use in this recipe is here in front of me. So I have my measuring cups and measuring spoons, as well as my kitchen scale and everything we are going to use, from the choux pastry to our chocolate and the toppings that we are going to use on top. So I'm going to start by measuring everything out, and then we will be moving on to making our dough. The stove, when we've turned on the oven, we are going to start by making the choux pastry. So we are going to start by melting the butter. As soon as the butter are melted, we are going to mix in the flour, and it's going to form like a paste-like consistency, and then we are going to let it cool off just enough to incorporate the eggs. And that is important so that we don't cook the eggs. So we have to let the choux pastry or the dough just cool off a little bit before we add in the eggs. After a lot of stirring, we can now see that we have a dough-like consistency. So we are going to turn off the heat and just remove it from the heat to prevent it from burning. And now we are going to let that cool off before we incorporate in our eggs. I've removed the dough mixture from the stove, and it is cooled down just enough for us to mix in our eggs. We have to mix in everything, and that's going to form our choux pastry. As you can see, after mixing, we have now formed like a dough-like pastry, and this is called our choux pastry. So we are going to put this into our piping bag, we're going to grease our oven pan, and then we are going to pipe it and put it in the So while our choux pastry is busy baking in the oven, I've turned on the stove with some water in a pot to melt our white chocolate, and we are going to start here by mixing our cream to make a whipped cream, and to then incorporate the raspberries for the cream filling that we are going to pipe inside of our eclairs. Done with everything prepared. Now we are only going to fill, dip and decorate, and then our eclairs are finished and ready to eat.